Hello everyone, my name is Jerry and welcome to today's video. Today, as you have read by the title, or I guess if you can't read then and just saw the thumbnail, we're going to be building in The Sims on a 40 by 30 lot in Brindleton Bay. I called this house the Brindleton family home. Very original, I know. And it has 5 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. It does actually house 7 Sims plus a dog or a cat, but I didn't put any cat stuff, so you have to have a dog. You have no other choice. But anyways, we are going for a kind of coastal rustic kind of house. I mean, I only say rustic because of the inside and not because of the outside. The outside is more New England inspired because the world of cats and dogs is New England inspired. Um, and I didn't really go for the coastal kind of interior. I meant more rustic because I really wanted to use more horse ranch stuff because I never really use it too often because of the texture of it. But I like the texture. I just never really know what to do with it or if it even looks good when I use it. But I think I made it work today in this house. So hopefully you think that it works. The outside of this house came together not good at all. I know in my last video I said, oh, the outside is usually the easiest part for me. This one, no. For a lot of the inspo pictures that I was looking at on Pinterest and stuff, a lot of these houses have a little bit of a diagonal either on the side or something. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll do a diagonal. You know, usually diagonals, when it's just on one part of the house, is usually pretty fine. It's easy, I want to say. But for this one, I really could not make it work for the life of me. And I have no idea why. I think mostly because the diagonal was so big, but it's not even really that big. And I was struggling so badly with the interior. And I think I also screwed myself over because the diagonal is 2 stories high. If you can kind of see it on the side there, I get rid of this. And I do something different. This outside, it was a pain. And I'm blaming it all on this diagonal part that I really wanted to have for some reason. In the end, it was fine. It's more of a garage, and I put a little garage band setup in there, which was kind of fun. But we don't even have garage bands or bands in general in this game. That's honestly something that I really, 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 really want. Is just the ability to have a band or just have Sims be able to play different instruments at the same time. I know if you just have them, one person play the piano, one person play the violin at once, but it'll work, I guess. It'll give the illusion that they're playing together. However, they'll be playing 2 different songs and they're obviously not playing together, and you'll be able to tell very easily. So I just want the ability to be able to play the same song at the same time with different instruments and just have the illusion of a band more easily. And drums. Oh my god, Sims team, please give us drums. Drums would be so nice and it would make me so happy. I really wanted a drum setup in there, but uh, obviously we don't have any drums. So unfortunately, we do not have that, but I think it still turned out pretty nicely. And as I was building this more and more, I was starting to realize that this whole storyline that I came up with for the Sims who live in this house, it's very much Drake and Josh because one, I have a bedroom upstairs that has 2 double beds in it, and it's like 2 teenagers sharing a room. And one of the teenagers is really into video games, and the other one is the one who has the garage band. And I was like, this not Drake and Josh? Because I also had a child in this house who's very into science and very smart. So I was like, okay, I literally just made a Drake and Josh house, but Drake and Josh has only 3 children, and this one has 5. Yeah, it has 5 kids in there. Because there's an infant, there's 2 children, and there's 2 teenagers. But obviously you don't have to go for that if you do end up downloading this house. Um, but yeah, I thought it was still pretty fun though. The inside, it doesn't look like the Drake and Josh house. The outside doesn't even look like the Drake and Josh house. But maybe we'll just call this the Drake and Josh house. I don't imagine that the 2 teenagers who live in this house though don't get along like Drake and Josh did. I mean, they technically did get along, but it was very much back and forth. One minute they loved each other, the next minute they hated each other. But as you can see right now on the screen, I'm building the garage, and I did something different with it. I used these doors. They're pet doors, like cats and dogs doors. And I size them up, and I just move objects them so that they'll be close to the wall. These doors are obviously not functional because they're not even connected to a wall, but I still think that they look pretty cool, and they look a little bit like barn doors, to be honest. But I thought it worked pretty nicely as a little garage, and I've seen a lot of people do this before, so it's not like a new idea that I just came up with. It's still pretty nice. And I think for my next video, I'm going to build a smaller house, because this is 2 videos in a row now that I've built a massive house, and I almost did not finish this one in time. I'm trying to give myself the schedule of posting every week, and I was like, oh, I'll post every Monday. As you can tell, this was posted on a Tuesday, so I did not finish this house on time. I just finished it yesterday, and now I'm trying to edit the video and do the voiceover. I need to remember or remind myself that I don't have all the time in the world, because I still do have a full-time job. So yeah, I need to start building houses that are easier to finish in a short period of time. Maybe next video I'll build like a small cabin or something. I don't know. I do have this little idea though, where I'll start making builds with the packs as they're intended. So like for a dream home decorator, I'll build a dream house, or for I guess for cats and dogs, I would build like a vet clinic or something. Basically using the packs as they're intended and only using those packs for that certain build that I'm doing. I don't know. That's just a little idea that I have. I might do it. So maybe I'll start with outdoor retreat, since it was the very first pack that came out for The Sims, and I'll do a small cabin in the woods in the world of what's that road called? Granite Falls. In the world of Granite Falls, and it'll be a little like camp site, I guess, where you can go and vacation there. So maybe I'll do that, and it'll be something small, it'll be something quick, and I'll be able to finish it in time, and I won't be stressing out, because I was stressed. I was very stressed. And you know what's crazy is I went to work yesterday, and I wasn't even supposed to be there. So my manager, she didn't put up the schedule for this week, and we usually have a schedule like posted on the fridge in our little area, and it was still posted from last week, and I didn't notice it. So I was like, oh, I have off on Tuesday and Thursday. But then I come in today, and she's like, well, I came in yesterday, and she was like, oh, I wasn't expecting you to show up today, but that's so good, you can help us out, and da da da. And I was like, I wasn't supposed to be here. And she's like, no, you were off today. I go and I look at the schedule, and it says I have off on Monday and Tuesday. I was very upset. I was like, wow, I wasn't even supposed to be here. I could have finished my video. But it's okay. She gave me something small to do, so I wasn't there for very long, and I was able to finish this build. And now today I'm doing the voiceover and posting it. So yeah. Now we have moved on to the inside. We're starting off with the kitchen, and here's what I meant by using the horse ranch stuff. I use these kitchen counters from Horse Ranch, and I usually don't use these because of the texture. As you can see, it's a very different kind of texture, and they're starting to do this a lot more. I think the first time they've ever done a newish kind of texture was with what was it called? Snowy Escape, where they had that little wood texture. If you have Snowy Escape, you know what I mean. But they had this wood texture that was different than all the other wood textures that we've ever had. So I think they started off by using it with that pack, and now they're doing it more into the different packs. And with this one, it makes more sense because it's supposed to be more of a rustic vibe. And I do like this texture. I think it looks really nice. I don't know. I feel like I have a hard time using it, especially when we don't really have many packs that really match this texture. So if you really want to use it, you have to use like all horse ranch stuff. And this obviously is not a horse build. There is no horse in this house. So yeah, but I did use it, and I think it looks really nice. I used the blue color. A lot of the furniture in this house is blue. Well, not really. It's more like blue accents, if you will. Because I feel like when you build in Brindleton Bay, you have to use some sort of blue. I don't know. I feel like it's just a rule that it has when you build in Brindleton Bay. But I do really like this kitchen, and I think it turned out really nice. It's a really big kitchen, and I wanted to make sure that it was big because in my last house, the last video that I posted, the kitchen was very small despite it being a 7-bedroom house. The kitchen was like 3 tiles. And I really wanted to make sure that the kitchen in this house was bigger because it makes more sense to have a big kitchen. And yeah, so hopefully I redeemed myself now with having this bigger kitchen, and I think it looks really nice. I used some debug clutter. You might have seen that little wall shelf thing that we just panned over to a second ago, where basically it's a saved room that has all this debug stuff. I downloaded off of the gallery a while ago actually, and it basically just has a bunch of debug clutter and stuff that would look good in a kitchen, and I usually use that quite a bit when I don't feel like searching through debug or turning on the cheat. So that's a good way to get some debug stuff when you don't want to turn the cheats on, is just download it from the gallery. A lot of people make rooms and stuff with all the different debug clutter and debug plants and stuff, so you won't have to turn on any cheats or anything, especially if you don't know how, or if you just don't want to use any cheats but you do still want to use cheats at the same time. It's like a little hack for you there. But now we've moved on into the living room, and for this living room I use these growing together couches, and I'm trying to find some sort of chair that could match it because to no one's surprise, there are no matching chairs to this couch, and this is starting to become the new norm, and I hate it, where the Sims team will give us these amazing couches, these 3 wide couches, but then they'll give us no matching love seat and no matching armchair. Oh my god, it actually infuriates me, the amount of 3 wide sofas that we have, but we have no matching um love seat or armchair for it. And growing together in and of itself has way too many chairs. They have like 5 different dining chairs, and half of them are ugly, and I think one of them has this really high back. It's like really modern looking. It matches the one of the desks that comes with this pack, and it doesn't look good. It's it's for a very specific purpose. Obviously, I think it's for the recreation center, but they honestly could have just gotten rid of a lot of those chairs that they gave us and instead used that to give us a matching love seat and armchair for this couch, because it's such a nice looking couch. Look at how nice this couch is. Well, you can't really see it, but this couch is so nice. It has this little throw blanket on the back, these cute little pillows, and there's nothing that goes with it. I tried to use the horse ranch ones, which I do still use the horse ranch armchair. I just use it in the office, and I put one in the dining room. But yeah, it's like this really nice leather sofa, and there's no matching chair. It honestly, it makes me so mad. Every single time I'm like, oh wow, look at this beautiful couch. Let me just put this whole set in here. There is no set. There is no set. Yeah. And I love that, honestly. It makes me really, really, really happy every single time I try to use a chair or couch and there's nothing that goes with it. You can obviously mix and match from different packs and stuff, but you shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to use other packs in order to match with a couch that should already have a matching set to it. I feel like they prioritize stuff that doesn't need priority, like that ugly chair from Growing Together. You could have given us a just an armchair too, like just an armchair would have been nice, but no honey, you don't get one. um but yeah, I actually quite like this living room despite not having a matching set. I used the armchair from Cats and Dogs. It's like it has this really nice high back, and it has a throw blanket on it too. The browns don't really match, and it's obviously not a leather couch, but I still think it goes pretty well. And I used the little what is it called? You put your feet on it. I think it's like a footrest. In the game, it's a couch or an armchair, but in real life, it would be some sort of footrest that you put your feet on, obviously. And I used that, and I used it in the blue swatch to kind of bring in the pillows in the kitchen a little bit more, to just, bring in more of that blue that we're supposed to have, because it's the rules. Sorry, I don't make them. But anyways, I do want to apologize if you do see this like green flashing dot that appears on the screen every now and again. I think I've gotten used to it because I've been playing on console for a while now, so I've just gotten used to all of its kinks and stuff. I've been playing this game for years, so I've just gotten used to all the small things that happen in this game. But if you do see it, because I noticed it in my last video, so if you do see it, I do apologize because it does pop up a lot in this video in particular because my game was having a bit of trouble. I don't know what was going on, but there was this point where if you hit a certain button on your controller, you're able to change how your where you place it on the grid. So it can be a full tile grid, a half tile grid, and free placement. And you can do that when you're in this menu here and you're just, taking the item out of the menu. But for some reason, in the beginning of this build, when I was furnishing, it was not allowing me to do that. And I don't know why. It kept popping up the little search bar on the side. So it was very annoying. I think it got fixed the next day when I came back to finish the build. So it was fine after I closed the game. So I think it was just a glitch that was happening for a little bit. But it was annoying. It was annoying me, so I bet it was probably annoying some of you seeing it happen quite a bit in the beginning, but it's fine now. Right now, as we're building, you won't be able to see that happening anymore because it did get fixed. But yeah, we're now in the dining room, and for this dining room, I used this table from Wedding Stories, which I bought Wedding Stories. I know it's not a good pack gameplay wise, but the items, oh my god, I really could not resist these freaking build items. I held out on buying it for a really long time because I play the game so much gameplay. So I was like, I don't want my weddings to be changed and ruined, because I actually quite like the chaotic version of the base game weddings because they're just, I don't know, there's something very nostalgic about it, I guess, just it being so chaotic. And I didn't really have any problems when it came to people sitting down, and maybe this is a console thing, but I had never had any issues with people sitting down and watching the wedding, especially if you add everybody to a group and then press go here and then you start the wedding. Then everybody's just going to sit down automatically because they're already in the area. And if they do end up getting up and walking away, I didn't really care because I was just focused more on my Sims who were getting married, and I didn't really care about everyone sitting down and watching. So I didn't really have any problems when it came to that. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to fix a problem that, in my, humble opinion, is not a problem. So, but I do understand that it is a problem of a lot of Sims just not caring about the wedding. But one issue that I did have, and I had a little My Wedding Stories wedding. So this is probably just one of the many problems that comes with this pack. But one issue that I did have was people were eating my cake. Not even people. My Sim, my bride to be, was eating the cake out of the air because I set it to as the wedding cake, right? So you can set it as the wedding cake. So I set it, right? So it's gone. It's not there anymore. But somehow, whenever she would get hungry or something, she would pull this wedding cake out of her just out of thin air and start eating it. And I was like, what are you eating? And it was the wedding cake. How on earth are you eating the wedding cake when it's supposed to be gone? It's supposed to be set as the cake for the wedding. So how on earth are you eating it? That confused me so much, and I was like, oh my gosh, I should have never bought this pack. I should have never gotten it. But yeah, and the whole Sims walking down the aisle thing, it's not as great as you would probably think that it is. But anyways, back to the build. We've moved on to the office. Well, now we're in the garage, but we did the office space, and this whole section of the house you probably saw in the beginning was a lot different in the beginning when we were in the living room because I still hadn't figured it out too much of how I was going to lay this out. But as I was going on more, I was like, maybe I can turn this into an office space. I fidgeted around with this so much, but in the end I got it to work. I think is this big black triangle that you can see. It's just empty space, you're gonna have some empty space, okay? That's just how it is. A lot of times when I'm floor planning, one thing that I really had to tell myself was that it's okay if you have a square or a little triangle of empty space when you're floor planning, because, you know, I feel like a lot of times it's realistic too. Sometimes people will have empty spaces in between their walls. That's just how it is, and that's just the best way that it's gonna work for The Sims, because I really could not figure out this diagonal. Why did I curse myself with this diagonal? I will never know. But we're not in the living room. No, this is the garage. And you can see we did the little, what's it called? The garage band space, where I put this like DJ booth where you can get up your DJ skill from Get Together. And I wanted it to be more like they're recording their tracks on this thing, and they're probably editing them in this and, posting them to the internet. After I already uploaded this build, I do this so much where after I already upload it and finish building and take all the screenshots and everything, then I start thinking to myself of more things that I could have added. But I was thinking I could have added maybe a better backdrop and then put a little camera setup. So it's like they're recording themselves and maybe posting. It's like a little early 2000s kind of idea where they would have this little setup and then they would record themselves, doing their thing, and then they would post it to YouTube and probably get like a couple hundred views and be like, "Oh my god, we're so famous." That's honestly how I feel sometimes whenever I post anything online and it gets like a couple hundred views or something. I'm like, yeah, I've made it. Call me Beyonce, because basically I'm super famous. There's also laundry in the garage. I didn't put any hampers in anyone else's room, not because I was thinking about gameplay, but just because I forgot. And there are hampers in the garage, so it is better for gameplay to have your hampers only in one location, because Sims are not very smart when it comes to laundry, so it's better to have it in one spot than having them walk all around the house to, pick up all the laundry in every single hamper and bringing it to the washer. But yeah, so there are only hampers in the garage. And we did just see the bathroom. It's the only bathroom you're going to see because, as always, the bathrooms are pretty boring and they all look the same, because you're just going to go in there, you're going to poop, and you're going to leave. Hopefully you wash your hands before you go, but for the most part, all the bathrooms look the same, so just rearranged in some sort of way. Now we are in the entryway, which is also very simple and plainly decorated. I did cut out all of the hallways, like the upstairs hallways and stuff, because first of all, I was struggling and I was like, okay, I don't want to leave these empty, but I also don't feel like decorating them to my fullest extent. So I kind of just cut the recording and I was like, okay, let me just put all these hallways together really quickly and just get it out of the way. So all the hallways, you won't see them. I did put pictures of them in the screenshots at the end, so you will see them in the screenshots if you decide to watch them. I don't know if anyone does watch screenshots, because I used to be a big screenshot person. Like, I would always watch to the very end to watch all the screenshots go by, because sometimes those screenshots look beautiful, but I don't know. For the most part, I don't really watch them like that, so I don't really know if everybody else is gonna watch them. So yeah, but there are pictures of the hallways in the screenshots if you do want to see what they look like. Now we are into the master bedroom, and this one has its own ensuite. And this room is not very fun, I would say. It mostly just matches the rest of the house, but these chairs from For Rent match this bed from Cats and Dogs so well. I don't know, like the dark brown with the blue on the inside, it was perfect. And now we're just cluttering it up. I did put a vanity in here so you can do your makeup or whatever. Even though I wouldn't recommend using the vanities for the purposes of doing your makeup, because the default makeup that it does come with is not very, let's just say it's not, it doesn't give, Nikki tutorials. It gives, I'm 10 years old and just got into my mom's makeup vanity. That's unfortunately what it looks like. But yeah, this bedroom is just very simply, plainly kind of decorated. I didn't really have a storyline when it came to the parents in this house. I don't know what kind of jobs they work. I don't know what kind of people they are. I don't know if they like that their son or daughter has a garage band in, and it's right next to the office too. So you know for a fact that when anyone is trying to work in that office, it's going to be super loud and probably really, really annoying. You will not be able to get anything done in that office while they're in there rehearsing. Yeah, it's not a very good place for an office space. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I bet they were probably only thinking, "Oh, we're just gonna put our cars in here. You know, the cars that we don't have. We're just gonna put the cars in here, and it'll be fine. You know." But no, their child decided to turn it into a space for their band to come and practice. But now we're into the infant room. In this infant room is also kind of plainly decorated. I'm not gonna lie, it's very brown, which is different for me. One thing that I didn't do with any of these bedrooms is I didn't change the color of the wallpaper depending on what bedroom you were in. So usually I would change the wallpaper to make it blue or pink or green or whatever in order to fit the style more of the room and to better fit the child that's living in there. But with this house, I didn't do that. I kept the wallpaper the same all throughout, and I basically just tried to decorate around the wallpaper. I don't know why I tried to do this, but yeah, I didn't change any of the colors. It's basically like it's almost as if they're renting this house and they aren't allowed to paint any of the walls. But I did think about doing it, but I was just like, you know what, it'll be a nice little challenge to just keep all the walls the same. But now we're moving into the first kid's bedroom, which this is for a kid who I imagine just really likes art. I put this arts table at the end of their bed, and it kind of fit really nicely right there. It does work right there because they don't use the front of the table. They only sit in the chair and draw on it. Um, yeah, and it matched really well with that cats and dogs bed. It's from Snowy Escape, that specific art table. And yeah, I tried to put a lot of colors in here since I didn't put any colors on the wall. And I used this mirror from, what's it called? Discover University, because it had a lot of stickers on it. I used the one in the green swatch, and I was trying to find a good swatch with the stickers on it that didn't have anything to do with university, because if you look closely at the stickers on some of the swatches, they really closely correlate to Foxberry or what's the other one? Brightchester. And obviously this kid is not in university, so I didn't want to have any university stickers on their mirror. And I don't think they're thinking about university either. They're just thinking about, I don't know, drawing. If any kid were to be thinking about university or even go to university as a child, which you can't do in this game, but you can do in real life if you're that smart. Um, but if anyone were to be thinking about it, it would probably be the next kid. And you might see that I take the roof off of the roof and put it onto the ground because upstairs, you'll see it a lot, but this roofing is really nice. It looks really nice from the outside. It's a really nice style. However, when you get upstairs and you're trying to decorate the rooms, oh my gosh, the camera jumps so much to the point where I was just so annoyed. And so I would just take the roof off and put it on the ground and then just put it back when I was finished with the room, because the amount of times that my camera was just jumping about was so annoying, especially since these rooms upstairs are covered and every single wall is covered except for maybe like one or two with roof. So whenever I would try to decorate, it would just constantly be jumping up and down. So I just was like, you know what? We don't need this right now. We don't need the roof, so we're just going to take it off. But now we're into the next kid's bedroom, which is the bedroom for the kid who I imagine was basically Megan from Drake and Josh, where she's just super smart, or he, she, whatever, is just super smart, and they're really into science and mostly space. I was thinking I didn't put too much space related things, mostly just like sciencey related things. They have the science table in here, also from Snowy Escape. And yeah, there's also, I use this bed from Horse Ranch, and right here you can see this desk. I used this desk from high school years, and this purple color goes so well with the swatch that I used from that bed from Horse Ranch. I don't know, the purples really just matched so well. And I wanted a high back desk. Like I wanted a desk that just went up super high. I didn't want one of those low ones. And the high desks, the ones that have an extra shelving above it automatically, they don't come in any dark wood swatches, which is something that I noticed and I wish I hadn't noticed, because now it infuriates me, the fact that the taller desks don't come in any regular wood swatches. Like, what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You couldn't put any regular wood swatches on any of these taller desks. It's only the small ones that have the right wood swatches, but even some of those desks don't even have the right wood swatches, because I was trying to use one in the next bedroom that we're going to go to in a second. Um and it really, I don't know, we need a swatch update in this game very badly, where mostly just wood swatches, just have more of the wood swatches match and give some of the furniture more wood swatches, so that, you know, we can use them more often in different houses and stuff. Especially these plain wood swatches. Like, this is just a regular dark brown wood swatch. I should not have struggled to find a dark brown wood swatch. But whatever. Anyways, this bedroom is super cute. I really do like it. I put it on a tiny little platform and I put some like fairy lights above it. I feel like I do this thing where I have this favoritism thing when it comes to bedrooms in this game, where I will decorate a bedroom so nicely, and it's always going to be a kid or a teenager where I decorate their bedroom so nicely, and it really does not compete with any of the other rooms, especially this room right here that we're moving on to, which is Drake and Josh's room, quote unquote, where you have one side with the teenager who has the garage band, and then you have another side with the teenager who's really into video games. I know Josh in Drake and Josh, he is really into science. He's really into a lot of things. He's really nerdy, basically. He's like a Star Wars fan, you know, those really nerdy, super smart guys who just thinks that he knows everything, basically. And yeah, but I imagine with this teenager, he is super smart, but he's also just super into video games. It's like one of the things that he's really into. He's a gamer. Which you can decide for yourself if that's a good or a bad thing. But right now we're decorating the musicians side of the room. This is the first time that I've ever put double beds, like two double beds in a room, in a single room, because I really wanted it to be like there are two teenagers in this room, because I feel like whenever you use a single bed in a room, it can look more like a kid's room than anything. I don't know. I think it's just my brain. It's just like, okay, the bigger the bed, the older that you are. So yeah, I tried to put two double beds in this room, and this room is pretty big, so it worked out really nicely that I was able to fit two double beds in here. I used the same bed, but I just used them in different swatches, just to kind of really drive home. I don't think that they're twins. I think maybe they're just close in age. You know how Drake and Josh are? They aren't twins. They're just, I think they're just a couple months older or younger than each other. Um, so yeah, I didn't want them to be twins, but you can make them twins if you decide to download this house and use the storyline that I have. But yeah, here's me struggling to pick a desk because, yeah, and it's like all of the ones that do come with the right swatches, they are really fancy looking desks. They're not desks that you would put in a regular like kids or teenagers room. So yeah, it was just really hard to find a nice desk that would fit in here, but this one's pretty small. This one's from Snowy Escape. Snowy Escape coming in clutch for throughout this whole build, because it came in a nice dark wood swatch that was able to fit in this room really nicely. Um, but yeah, we are on to the gamer side of the room, and they have a really nice PC desk, and I do put a little divider in between the two rooms. I was going to use this one that had the clothes draped over the top, but it came in red and orange, the clothing on the top, and I didn't like that. I didn't like the red and orange, so I just used the one that didn't have the clothes on it, and it works. It's still the same. This room also does have its own ensuite bathroom, which I kind of don't really like that those windows, the ones with the little opening, are used for a bathroom, especially since you can definitely see if somebody was in there, especially since I didn't put any curtains on it. Because I don't like how curtains look on those windows, even though I did put curtains on the windows in Megan's room. I don't know why I'm trying to drive home that this is a Drake and Josh house. This is not inspired by Drake and Josh. It just happened to turn out that these kids in this house are very much Drake and Josh. um, but yeah, so I did put curtains in her room, but I didn't put curtains in the bathroom. So everyone's gonna see you doing your business. But we are finally on back outside, and we're doing the planning of the yard. I didn't show this in my last video of me planning out the landscaping in the yard because that lot was a lot bigger and it took me a lot longer. But with this one, I did show it. I did cut out some of me doing the pathing because, yeah, I redid it like 20,000 times, and you don't need to see that, okay? And like before, I'm only going to show you me doing part of the landscaping. So I'm only going to show you the front part, and I'm not going to show you the rest of it because it's very repetitive and you don't really need to see me place down the same plant 20,000 times. I do try to use a mixture of real landscaping and debug landscaping whenever I do my landscaping now, because I'm doing the Super Sim challenge and I used debug landscaping predominantly throughout, and I had like 3 real plants, and because of that my lot kept turning industrial, and I really couldn't figure it out. And I was like, why is it so industrial all the time? Especially since I didn't even have the eco footprint gameplay turned on. It's off. So I don't know why it kept telling me that my lot was industrial. The sky would turn all brown and orange, and it was gross, and I hated it. And I was like, oh my god, what the heck is going on? And so I finally concluded that it's because I didn't have any real plants on the lot. So just a little tidbit for you that Eco Lifestyle bugged. Of course it is. And you need real plants on your lot in order for it to not constantly tell you like, hey, you suck at being green because you have no real plants on your lot. So yeah, the rest of what we do now is just finishing up the landscaping, and then we're gonna put like a little semi blow up pool in the back. It's mostly just a pool raised up on a foundation that I learned from Jessica Pye. I watch her so much, but yes, she would always do this thing where she puts a pool on a foundation instead of putting like the pool into the ground. Because I didn't really think a pool in the ground would look that good on this lot. I don't know. So I did that. I also put a little dog course on the side yard. So yeah, that's basically what we do for the rest of it. But I'm gonna go now. I really hope you all enjoyed this video. If you do like this build, you can download off the gallery. My ID is jerryspillz with a Z, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye everyone.